We are joined this morning by Canastota Police Chief Jim Zophy, who also is the uncle of a 5-year-old Kadyn, that brave boy who called 911 and has become an overnight hero after the tragic loss of his mother and sister in a car accident in Oneida.
I don't have words to say the amount of caring that people have sent us and the support that has been out there. People have really stepped up. They've kind of associated with this story, so I'm pretty proud of the little man.
For 5 years old, I mean, that little boy showed more courage than most adults would show in a time of crisis.
That's probably an understatement. I wish I had words to describe the type of will and the need to survive in which that child had, and remained completely calm throughout the whole course of the incident, and was able to do things that I think most people would be in such shock that they wouldn't be able to react. And he knew that it was extremely important to get the right people there, as most children would do. The right person was dad, because that's what children do. They reach for their parents in a time of need.
This little boy is, I think, going to go on to do great things, and you have started a scholarship fund for counseling, but not only his future needs.
The scholarship fund is through the United Savings Bank. It's in Kadyn's name, Kadyn Depasquale. You can donate to that in care of the United Savings Bank, 104 East South Peterborough Street, Canastota, 13032. That money will be used for whatever Kadyn's educational needs may be in the future, whatever athletic type things he wants to involve himself in. He enjoys sports and he wrestles. Some of that leadership possibly came from, some of the involvement that he had in team sports and individual sports, and then also parenting. He's got great grandparents. He's got a great dad, and, he's always been a take charge type of kid, and gosh, he proved it more than anybody could imagine.
And he's got a great uncle.
You know what? I'm the backseat guy. Quite frankly, I can tell you that just proud as heck of this kid. I can't say enough about it.
Can you briefly tell us the experience and what Kadyn did?
Kadyn, we believe, was asleep at the time of the accident, was awoken to everything unfolding in front of his eyes. He was wearing a T-shirt, a pair of athletic shorts, and he was barefoot. He was in a vehicle that was tipped on its driver's side in the middle of a rural farm field. It was completely dark. He let himself out of his car seat, not knowing what happened, what was going on, had the presence of mind to check his sister and check his mother. Neither one responded. They were in pretty terrible shape. He was able to locate a cellular telephone that belonged to his mother. I'm not sure where he found it. He did say that the phone had illuminated, which brought his attention to it. I can't imagine he could have found that any other way, because there was no light. We know if we set our phones down someplace within our home, it's tough enough. But after a crash and things are all over the ground and in the vehicle, he was able to find the phone and telephone his dad, told him about his mother being deceased, his sister being deceased, and that he was in the woods and he was hiding in a bush because there were snakes. He couldn't see any homes. He couldn't see any cars. He just knew that he needed his father to come find him. Kadyn had told his father that the phone was red, and to Kadyn that meant that battery was dying. So he told his father he would climb on top of the Jeep to see if he could see any homes nearby. Kadyn not only had the courage to be left in those woods by himself and leave the person that he knew was on his way to make sure that he was safe, he called 911. He reported the accident as probably as well as any adult could, was able to articulate the scene, was able to articulate what was going on inside the vehicle, was even able to blow the horn on the vehicle to summon the police in the area where he was at, because they initially couldn't find the car accident. He did a lot of things, and just complete courage. I truly believe that he was able to get people there timely enough that the family had some extra time with his sister, because she actually deceased in the hospital. When I came on scene and the United police officer had him in the car, he was clutching that phone. I picked him up from the back seat and I took him to my vehicle where I sat him in, and I asked him, I said, Kate, are you okay? He says, Uncle Jim? He says, I only have a sunburn. He says, but my mom and my sister are dead, and I would be, too, if I wasn't in my car seat. Not a tear in that boy's eye. I couldn't even look at him at that point. I had to turn my head because my eyes were swelling up. He wanted to walk, barefoot, stones, didn't want me to carry him. I think I needed to hold him more than he needed to hold me. So at that point, I did hold him and delivered him to his dad. And he didn't cry. He didn't panic. He absolutely was able to think and complete a task that he knew he needed to do at 5 years old. I don't know of anybody in that situation, or most men that would lose, a wife or a child in a car and be able to think clearly enough in that amount of time to summon help. I just can't believe how proud I am of this kid and the way that he reacted under that scenario.
Our thoughts and prayers again are with you and your family. Thanks so much for talking with us during this difficult time, and we can't wait to see what the future holds for Kadyn and the impact that he's going to have on so many lives.
His name will be synonymous with greatness someday. We will hear it again. I'm assuring you of that.